Can you hear me? There's lots of traffic. Welcome to our Mural 723 Webster Community Mural Unveiling Celebration. Can we give it up? Yes, we did it. Andy Wong over there just reminded me, and I lost track of time, that this has been 3 years in the making. 3 years in the making from just even conceiving the thought. A lot of folks have been involved in this process, and it's just a joy to be able to come together and have all of you today celebrate with us. This mural, the Legacy Mural, was designed and conceived and painted by Desi Mundo, a muralist, world-renowned muralist, standing over there, who'll say a few words shortly, and Wong, right here, who did many of the original drawings of her family. But I think you never stepped up on the scaffold, did you, Flo?
No.
So this has been a really wonderful collaboration. This is a day to celebrate Chinatown, Oakland, Chinatown. It's to celebrate Oakland and our neighborhood with such a long legacy of family businesses that have been the cultural anchor of the neighborhood of Oakland. And in particular, this building and this mural today really celebrates the Chinn family, as well as the Wong family, with the Great China restaurant in the 50s, starting in the 50s, or actually 40s, starting in the 40s through the 60s, right? Yeah, and then the Kwong Wharf Food Company that was here in this building in the 70s. And I'm going to bring up Denise Chinn and Pam Chinn Scofern to come up and share a little bit about their family's history in this building, in the community, and the business. So we'll start with Pam.
Thank you very much. Can you hear me?
Yes.
I was asked.
Testing.
I was asked to present a little bit of the history of the building prior to Denise sharing her more recent memories, and Flo, of course. So this is in honor of my dad, Arthur W. Chinn, who passed away in 1921, 11 days short of his 100th birthday. I'm sorry, 2021. 11 days short of his 100th birthday. And yeah, I'm a little nervous, so sorry about that. Yeah, so let me get right to it. My great-grandfather, Chin Chung Hua, was born on October 13th, 1847 in Toisan, China, and came to America in the 1880s. He first lived on the East Coast before moving to Oakland in 1906, where he eventually became known as the unofficial mayor of West Oakland. He was known to his friends as Mao Li. He had 3 sons, Chin Kwok Ning, George, and Raymond. My grandfather, Chin Kwok Ning, in turn had 3 sons, Hugh, Arthur, and Howard, whom my great-grandfather brought over here first in the 1930s. Then in the 1960s, he brought over his 2 daughters and their families. Chin Chung Hua's primary profession was listed as a grocery merchant, and when he died, he had amassed a fortune of more than $1 million. In those days, that was a lot of money. However, in the 1930s, he and his family ran a lottery business out of their garages on 8th Street. And they paid off the police to be able to keep running them. A little shady. My dad, Arthur, and his brothers were runners. However, they closed those businesses when it became required to have a license and pay taxes. My great-grandfather, in turn, bought a chicken farm in Castro Valley, and my dad and his brothers worked there and cleaned the eggs, which, with a government contract, provided eggs during World War II. Thus, at some point during his successful career, my great-grandfather built the building that we have always referred to as the Chinatown building. My dad, Arthur Wing Chinn, was a paper son, having come here under an assumed name, Wong Ah Hong, in 1935. He received a 4F deferment and did not have to serve in the military. He married my mom, Margaret Beavers, a Caucasian from Arkansas, in the 1940s, and had to get married in Washington State as interracial marriages were illegal at that time. The marriage only lasted 8 years, and they had Daryl, Sandy, and myself, Pamela. Many years later, under the Forgiveness Act, my dad became a U.S. citizen, and he cried with joy. He later, being the only surviving male of Chin Chung Hua, inherited the Chinatown building. Arthur later married Alice K. Wong, and they had 2 children, Delano and Denise. They owned the Kwong War Food Company on the corner of 8th and Webster, and later moved the business across the street into the now standing building. Other businesses during my lifetime there at the building included Denise's Restaurant, Kwong War Food Company, Camland Bakery, and KW Good Luck Market, and Dell's Tropical Fish Store. Denise's Restaurant opened in the early 1970s and was named after my younger sister, Denise. I remember having my 21st birthday celebration there and many delicious meals over the years. I also remember weekly gatherings upstairs in the building where my grandmother, Chin Yet War, lived, and my 2 aunts and their families had moved to when they came over from China in the 1960s. We had so much fun in the Chinatown building over the years with all my cousins, aunts, and uncles, and good food and such fond memories to last a lifetime.
Okay, Denise.
So as my sister Pam said, we have a lot of family history here in Oakland and in Chinatown. My brother Delano and I basically grew up in Chinatown with all the businesses that my family had here in the 70s and 80s. And then my brother opened his tropical fish store called Dell's Tropical Fish in the 90s. My mom, Alice, she actually came out of retirement around 74. And about 14 years ago, she actually opened that store that's there right now called KW Good Luck Market. And I actually recently found out that the Chinese name of that store right now is the same as their other grocery store, Kwong War Food Company. So it's also called Kwong War. So our family's always been doing something in Chinatown. So I've been helping to manage the property the last 13 years with my cousin Raymond Yang, whose family owned a restaurant on the corner of 7th and Webster here. So they opened the first Hong Kong style restaurant here in Chinatown. So through the years that we've been managing this property, we've always had lots of graffiti on the side of this building. So we always thought about having like a mural done to help mitigate the graffiti. So 2.5, 3 years ago, when my daughter was entering her senior year in high school, she chose to do the mural as her project for her Gold Award for Girl Scouts. And she's the one that actually found Desi because she really liked his artwork. And then Desi brought in Roy Chan from the Chinatown Oral History Project. And then Roy brought in Flo and talked to her brother Bill and Flo about their connection to our building. So we were able to get a grant through the city, and so that's how this whole mural was able to come to be. So just a little bit about the mural. This picture here on the left is a picture of our dad, Arthur Chinn. So from the 1930s, he's sitting in a car in West Oakland. And this picture in the middle is a picture of our grandmother holding our cousin Anthony. So she's standing in the doorway of doorway in the building here. And then the last picture is a picture of me and my cousin, and we're standing in front of my parents' grocery store when it was located on the corner of 7th or 8th and Webster. So we're really excited to be able to finally get this done. We're happy to celebrate the history of Chinatown and also to honor the legacy of our family and their connection to Chinatown and City of Oakland. Thank you.
Thank you, Denise. All right. Next we have William G. Wong, journalist, author, and community
And Grandpop to
Grandpops
Milo
to
and Eva.
Milo and Eva. All right, Grandpops. Take it away, Bill.
Okay, thank you. Well, let me step forward a little bit. Wow. Can you hear me?
Yes.
First, happy birthday, Flo, 1 day in advance. Flo will always be 33 months older than me. But I'm getting close. Anyway, I thought I would give you all a little sliver of the G. Wong clan history, and please bear with me because I think it will give all of us a proper perspective on this beautiful graphic representation of our family, our clan here in Chinatown. And thank you again to Desi and Roy and the City of Oakland and the Chinn family, and especially Flo for the artwork. And here is a sliver. My father, our father, the father of Flo and Nell, and the other sisters who are no longer with us, but they are with us, came to Oakland in 1912 when he was a teenager, maybe 16, 17 years old, we really don't know. But before he could come to Oakland, he had to go to Angel Island Immigration Station because he came during the middle of the Chinese Exclusion Act. So he spent 3 weeks or thereabouts at Angel Island. And during the latter part of that period, he was interrogated by the immigration authorities. And one of the questions was sort of, where are you headed? So he told the immigration authorities on Angel Island, I'm going to Sang Fat Chong, SANGFATCHONG. I do not know the address. The next person questioned was a guy named G. Bing Fong, GBF. The paper father, not the real father, but the paper father of my father. And GBF was the sponsor, the paper father of my father, who was, here's the story. He said he was born in San Francisco in 1870. Now, I had my doubts about that, but a U.S. district judge ruled in his favor when somebody doubted that he was born in San Francisco in 1870. So this judge, a white guy, said, yeah, you were born in 1870 in San Francisco, therefore you are a native. And therefore, when his paper son, number 2 paper son, our father, wanted to come in as a son of a native, he became eligible for entry. So GBF in his interrogation was asked by the interrogator, so who are you? He said, I am a merchant of Sang Fat Choi, or Chong, sorry, Sang Fat Choi. The address is 629 Webster Street. Aha, here's the interesting thing. Right around the corner is 629 Webster Street. So, here's the punchline. This is my creative imagination and even poetic license, which is not my writing genre. That's Flo and Nellie, but I'll borrow from them. Okay? 629 Webster's right around the corner. Our father, Pop as we called him, worked and lived at Sang Fat Chong, a herbal shop for 7 years, 1912 to 1919, right around the corner. So he is in spirit looking right now at the mural that Desi painted from Flo's images. So I think that's a wonderful thing for us to celebrate today. Thank you again to Flo and Desi and Roy and the Chinns and the city of Oakland.
If you want to learn more about this history, pick up Sons of Chinatown, Bill's memoir.
Thank you.
All right, Nellie Wong.
I'm right here.
Oh, Nellie.
Yes.
Come on.
Yeah, I want to stand. I'm really very, very moved to be here with all of you today and to celebrate the unveiling of this beautiful mural that commemorates the labor and history of of our family and the Chinn family, and just Bill relating the information about 629 and such. I sure wish I had paid more attention growing up instead of wanting to get away from Chinatown. So even if I try to leave Chinatown, Chinatown has never left me. And wouldn't you know that Bill, Flo, and I are all writers and artists and activists, and not quite, for me anyway, not quite understanding all the things that my mother and father did to teach us to protect and grow and change our families for the community good and for the legacy they've left us as working class immigrants. And our history is not that well known, and I don't want to go into all the things that happened, that we were discriminated against and jailed and murdered in the United States, but that what is happening here today then brings us all together in celebration. And I would like to share with you a poem about my mother, Sui Ting Ji, and this is actually from my having worked at Aichonghua, Great China, at 723 Webster Street. And this is Pantun for Pancakes. A Chinese woman in America made the best pancakes ever. Not Betty Crocker, not Julia Child, you know, with a Chinese soup spoon in hand so clever, she heaped 7 soup spoons of flour just so. Not Betty Crocker, not Julia Child, you know. She measured 2 cups of milk with precision and 4 drops of color, egg color, into a bowl. Shook a couple of shakes of salt without derision. She measured 2 cups of milk with precision, added 3 soup spoons sugar, 2 teaspoons baking powder, shook a couple of shakes of salt without derision. With Ma's pancakes, who'd want clam chowder? Added 3 soup spoons of sugar, 2 teaspoons baking powder, stirred up a storm, plopped in another soup spoon of flour. With Ma's pancakes, who'd want clam chowder? Customers at the Great China succumbed to her power. Stirred up a storm, plopped in another soup spoon of flour. A ritual of love and survival wielded this woman with care. Customers at the Great China succumbed to her power.
waiting with knives and forks in working hands bare. A ritual of love and survival wielded this woman with care, feeding pensioners, salesmen, and bachelors together, waiting with knives and forks in working hands bare during World War II in all kinds of weather. Feeding pensioners, salesmen, and bachelors together, no longer a village woman waiting for money, nothing to sell. Waitress and cook, no time to smell roses and heather. Learning English from us children, and radio, she never fell. No longer a village woman waiting for money, nothing to sell. With a Chinese soup spoon in hand, so clever. Learning English from us children, and radio, she never fell. A Chinese woman in America made the best pancakes ever. Thank you.
Thank you, Nellie. Beautiful. Flo Oi Wong, come on up.
I am so thrilled to see all of you taking up 7th and Webster in front of the Salvation Army. When we ran the restaurant here, a lot of our customers were the men who stayed upstairs in the apartment buildings. And they came to our restaurant, and my parents were very kind-hearted. They didn't make them leave. They could stay all day for a 10-cent cup of coffee. And so we got to know the men of the Salvation Army really well. And at that time, I was the daughter of an impoverished family, and I didn't have any toys. And guess what they did? They went into the shop and brought me a doll's crib. And you know, I didn't know what to do with them because I was the last daughter to work in the restaurant. And my job was to wait on tables, fill the sugar jars, put the napkins in the napkin holders, and smile when the customers yelled at me. And so I am just really so thrilled that you're here. I take Tai Chi, and my Tai Chi master is here somewhere. Nelson is here somewhere. He taught me that in our bodies, we have 3 dantians. And I want to tell you that my dantian below my navel right now is just going, you know, whatever. And I even meditated this morning to stay calm. And so let's see if I can stay calm the rest of the day. Because tomorrow I'm going to be 86 years old. My art career started when I was 40 years old. I stayed home to take care of Leisha and Brad. And when they left the house and Ed was dedicated to his work wherever he was, I didn't know what to do with myself. So I went to Foothill College to take art classes. I went to De Anza College to take art classes. And I was one of the oldest students there, but I didn't care. I just went to learn. And so what I have today for you are 2 poems. In a family of 7, it was very difficult to get the attention of our parents. They were so busy running the restaurant, you know, and bossing us all around and expecting us to listen. And when we asked questions, they said, you know, I'm not going to tell you what you're asking. And the next moment, they would tell us what happened. And so I went, okay, you know. And so the first poem that I'm going to read to you is called I See Clem. In the Chinese language, there is no R. The R becomes an L. So ice cream in Huaisanhua became icy clem. So if one of you guys will hold this for me, and I will find, this morning I knew where the pages were, and right now I don't. Here it goes. Okay. I see Clem dressed in his overalls and scuffed shoes. Baba reached for my hand. I am wearing a hand-me-down dress and shoes. I smile, holding Baba's hand, wondering where we are going. We walk towards 8th Street, where there are grocery stores, fish markets, and more restaurants. Food odors mix with the mustiness of shoppers. At 8th and Franklin, Hamburger Joe's reigns. Juicy hamburgers and chunky French fries, dream food of Chinatown children. Waiting for cars to stop, we cross, with nary a word between us. Passing the reddish brick apartment complex, housing African Americans of all ages, we continue towards Broadway, where on one side of the street, Bank of America and other businesses are located. On the other side, there is a jewelry store and a movie theater, which sells ice cream of many flavors to passerbys through a window open to the street. Ice cream, Papa, I say. We walk to the jewelry store open window. I see Clem, he says. The jeweler gestures toward the movie theater. There. At the theater's window, Baba repeats, I see Clem. Now, the next poem that I'm going to be reading is a tone poem named after our restaurant. And early this year, when I showed at the Berkeley Art Center, Milo read the poems with us. Do you want to read it with me? Okay, all right. I have to find the page, okay? And would you believe I'm really nervous? You know what page that our poem is on? I think 27. Yeah. Okay. How should we do it, Milo? Should we do one at a time, or should we do it together? Or what do you want to do? Okay, yeah, that's good. Okay, so I'm gonna be speaking in Hwaisanwa, and he's gonna be speaking in English. Okay, and make it really exaggerated. Okay, and you know what exaggerated means, right? Okay, all right, yeah, all right. I Zhonghua,
Great China,
I Zhonghua,
Great China,
Pangon,
Restaurant,
Oakland Hong in Foul,
Oakland Chinatown,
Gi Gang Bak, Gi Gang Sim,
Uncle Gi Gang, Auntie Gi Gang.
Hoi Gong La,
Start work now.
Ga Fe,
Coffee,
Min Bao Doi,
Parker House rolls,
Ping Guo Pie,
apple pie,
Bao Wen Hun,
wrap wontons,
Ki Hoi,
wait on tables,
Mod Hoi,
wipe the tables,
Fly Pon One,
wipe the dishes,
Fly Ga Fe Wu,
wash the coffee urn.
Hoi Gong La,
Start work now.
Hoi Gong La.
Start work now.
Thanks.
Thank you, Flo. Thank you, Milo. Wow. All right. Desi, Mundo, my brother. Highest, muralist, come on up.
Thank you. Usually the mural's done when we do the dedication. This is special because the excitement is so strong that we had to dedicate it before I even finished. So I hope you guys come back and see it when it's finished. My auntie, my adopted auntie Rocky Rodriguez always tells us when certain stages of life, she gives the kids instructions. And she says, know the difference between right and wrong and act accordingly and walk with measured steps. And this scaffold is a testament to walking with measured steps. And sometimes I'm crawling with measured steps on the top level. And it's terrifying. And honestly, I've been through a lot in my life. I've had a lot of adventures, and I don't think I've ever been this scared. And throughout that process, I'm reminded, this is a legacy piece. And I'm thinking about these stories that you're telling and reminding me again. I don't always remember who's who. It's your dad. Oh yeah, I knew it was somebody. But I can't remember every story in detail. So to come back really helps me, But I remember also that, because we're so close to this specific building, these specific stories, that I have a huge responsibility to do a good job because of their legacy, of the people who I'm painting. And it's also a little bit of my legacy. I got to do a good job so it looks good, And so I'm trying to really my best when I'm up there. I get there before the sun comes out, I'm painting with the moon about 6:30. Chinatown's quiet, and there's no cars on the street. It's really peaceful. And the moon's up there just to the right, and I'm painting by the light of my iPad so I can see what I'm doing. And then I watch the sun come up, and the birds come out. And they fly right over my head, and the noises, the trucks, everybody delivering food and getting their businesses started, and it really is the story of what I'm painting as I'm painting it, and that's beautiful and powerful. And so, I hope that it comes out as good as you guys want it, just trying my best. And it's interesting because we have the photos, which are kind of easy to interpret, but then also Flo's drawings, which I have to actually try to make them look like the drawing and not like the photo that she was looking at. So when we put it up there, you see it's all drawn out. It was based off of this right here, But when I go and paint it, I go back to the original drawing and I discover all types of new things inside of it. And that's also powerful, finding the story under the story. Oh, that's a wall. Oh, that's a brick. Oh, that's a person. Look, there's a reflection. Things like that I didn't even realize when I was initially putting it together. So there's so many layers to Chinatown, and there's so many layers to this piece. And I just want to thank the family for allowing us to paint this wall. Ashlyn, big shout out for wanting a mural in the first place. I don't know where she is. UCLA, all the way to UCLA, we're giving her a shout out. And I appreciate all you guys coming out. It's a big honor, to see all of you here. And thank you very much. And thank you, Roy, for putting all this together. And, thank you, Vero. Thank you, Bill. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you, Desi, for risking your neck every morning to climb up on that thing and doing your thing. Beautiful. Thank you, Desi. Before I bring up our last speaker, just wanted to do a couple of thank yous. This project is a collaboration of many people. Many of you have heard already. The Oakland Chinatown Oral History Project that really interviewed a lot of the folks that are depicted here. Began about 15 years ago. Bill Wong here really started it all with his oral history project, and then I came along and he's just been a great mentor. The project's a part of the Oakland Asian Cultural Center. Sally Lee over there is the executive director. Raise your hand. Dharma Galang over there, he's also here from OACC. And the project's supported by the Senior Assistance Foundation of the East Bay, so thank them. The mural is also funded by the Zellerbach Family Foundation and Family Fund. And also want to give a couple of other shout outs. Andy Wong, Young Wong, and Chris Wong have been documenting this entire process of the mural the last 3 years. So I want to give you all a big shout out. Young, Andy, I don't know where Andy is, and Chris, who's filming this today. And then Edward Wong, Flo's husband, has been really the archivist, really collecting all the photos of the community. I wanted to give a shout out to my wife, Lenore Chinn, over there, and my kids, Isai and Mateo, for coming out to Chinatown all the time, just for their support, thought partnership. And Laura's always been instrumental to the work that we do here, and she really led the way in one of our projects documenting the Asian Branch Library history. So thank you to my family. So finally, I wanted to bring up our council president, District 2 council member, Nikki Fortunato Bass, who really believed in this project from the start, and their office helped fund this mural.
Yay, Nikki! Yay! Woo. Good afternoon, everyone. It's a real pleasure to be here. I'm Nikki Fortunato Bass. I serve as the council president and also the council member for Chinatown these past 6 years. And it's been really important to me to make sure that the city invests in arts and culture, and especially in culture keeping and storytelling. So I've been able over the past 4 years to set aside some funding for murals and for some other projects. And so this is really a celebration of all of you. Thank you, Roy. Thank you, Bill, for documenting the oral history of Chinatown. Thank you to the Chinns and the Wongs for keeping your family legacies alive. Thank you also to Sally and the whole team at the Oakland Asian Cultural Center, which I think has some of the best programming in the entire city, if not the entire region, that really makes art and culture for the Asian community, as diverse as it is, come alive. And not only that, just really touch our community in terms of the diversity today. And then of course, Desi is an icon here in Oakland and Chinatown and downtown. There's multiple murals that we get to enjoy because of Desi's work. And I just want to say I'm excited to see this mural in progress. I'm excited to see it finished. The last grant that I believe we were able to approve at the City of Oakland for our mural funds was this particular grant. And I want to thank you all for your patience, because it is not easy to be a grantee of the City of Oakland, and you all were so patient. And it's just a testament to the resilience, the persistence of Chinatown families, that we are here today, whether you're a business owner or an artist and culture keeper. So I just want to encourage us to really keep alive the spirit, the legacy, as well as the resilience of Chinatown through this art, as well as the many ways that we interact with this community. Thank you.
Hey, thank you, Council President. Okay, I think that's it. Thank you, everybody, for coming. All right.